Lovely. Okay, so Stephen, in your own words, tell us what you're hoping to do for your FMP.
Right. So basically, I want to record some noises that are not traditional instruments. Taking those samples that I get from those, chop them up into bits, turn them into musical pieces. The idea is that I do it through using as a constraint on, because my feeling is like there's too many things to record. There's a constraint to break each track down into a earth, air, fire, and water.
Okay.
So, and then from that, create 4 tracks that I can make into a little EP.
So the concept is each track's made out of 4 elements, out of one of the 4 elements.
Yes.
Excellent. So a music concrete, if you will. Excellent.
So I'm going to call it Earth Song, Air Song, Fire Song, Water Song, just for the sake of it.
Yeah, I think if you're doing it as a band, you can't call yourself Earth, Wind and Fire, can you?
That's true. Some issues.
Yeah. Okay, brilliant. Okay. So in terms of the research, the concept's pretty solid already. Have you done any research of anyone who's done something similar?
There was a very good one, which I've actually got in my research. Can I scroll?
Yeah, of course you can.
There's a really good one down here. Eamon Tobin.
Oh, Eamon Tobin, yes.
And there's a whole thing. They actually did a video of them recording lions and things like this in zoos and things.
Oh, wow. Brave.
Yeah, very brave. So, yes, they did quite a lot of that type of thing too, because they wanted to create a similar thing where they make the music from those sort of natural sounds.
Yeah, and I guess there's a sort of a slight vulnerability because you don't really know what you're going to get, are you? So it's that kind of, it's going to be...
It's exploratory.
Undetermined.
Undetermined, yes. But yeah, some of the other research I've got in those was
music concrete right there.
Yeah. Obviously, looking at people who started doing this kind of thing with electronic music sampling, it was kind of and then going down into the practicalities of doing it, how I'm going to use equipment, and how I can get good sound on a phone and things like this.
So it's the limitation that you're going to be using a phone to record.
But I think a lot of the field stuff,
which actually isn't that bad. A decent iPhone this day and age, the microphone's pretty cool. It's designed to try and minimise ambience of wind, so you can hear what the person's saying.
That's the worst bit about it, I think, is the wind noise that you get out of the field, which would be great for the air stuff.
Easy, kind of.
But I'd like to get something a little bit more detailed if I can, because if I'm, say, doing air and I want to record the sound of air going through tall grass, then I'd want it to be more what's the word? So you can distingush that from the sound of.
So you wanted to have it kind of isolated as well.
Just playing across the microphone. Yeah.
So this is when possibly things can get a bit artificial to get the sound source, where instead of recording it all outside, some aspects are recorded in the studio to create those textures, but with a slight artificial, Foley.
An artificial wind, yes.
Yeah. Yes. Or the ability that you can apply certain materials to a wind source to record it, in a studio environment, so you can sort of be completely artificial. So it could be, unless you want it to be 100% organic only, but I think there is room for, and also I think it'd be room for exploration of studio techniques of artificially creating Foley.
Definitely.
Which is kind of exciting, really. Because, how do Foley artists make a hurricane? do you just wait for a hurricane to turn up? And if there's a hurricane in action, do you really want to stand there with your SM58? I wouldn't.
Yeah.
So how can I recreate that? You know,
Well, I think they use those big sheets, don't they? For the
thunder sheet. We've got one.
We've got one.
We've got one. Well, it's actually a whiteboard sheet. And it's off its in. I just found it and I was moving it to tuck it away. It's like a thunderstorm. Yeah, it is. So I think it was that documentary a little while back. Walt Disney did the thunderstorm. It was like rain sticks and it's layers, isn't it? So that'd be quite cool because you wouldn't particularly want to have a thunderstorm in the studio. Ideally. Fire, yet again, opposite. You don't want that in the studio.
No, but I do want to get an authentic recording of that kind of wood crackling sound.
Yeah.
And talking to one of the technicians, the piezo microphones would actually pick that up quite well, and they're very cheap, and you can set up. So if you have the log in the fire, but then you contact the piezo microphone to the wood that bit isn't, it will still pick up sort of the vibrations and
it would,
noises. What's happening to the piece of wood that's burning.
Artificially, to make wood crackle, which, and blind test, it's hard to tell the difference, is dry, it has to be dry twigs. Right. So you snap it and layer that. It is the same texture, sound. It is essentially wood. It has to be dry wood. Because wet wood sizzles, dry wood crackles. Wow, remember that from my scout days?
Have two different sounds.
Would that be a collab with water and fire?
So there's various things I've thought about and people have suggested to me that sounds fun to do.
Yeah, some of it's be quite really exciting
and have interesting sounds attached to them. So,
How would you get a waterfall?
How do you get a waterfall?
Yeah, that's a question I'd ask myself. I can't think on the top of my head.
Well, I suppose having not been near many waterfalls, depends the size of the waterfall, I suppose. But yeah, I suppose it's just pouring water, isn't it? Essentially, it's pouring water into a receptacle that's catching the water.
So, quite a grand scale.
But yeah, I don't know how you'd grasp the tonal quality of say, Victoria Falls or something might be a bit different. I think that's mostly just a big.
It is a
big roar, but
more likely, less splash, more a consistent white noise. Yeah. Just trying to think what would be. You know what? I reckon something silly as running a bath.
Yeah. It'd be a large enough receptacle to get
the deepness of it.
The water falling into it.
Something like that. There's probably a sweet spot when you don't hear the enamel of the bath, it's just the water itself. So it's more expert than because the classic one for creating rain is recording a shower. That's a classic one. Because in this country, most of the time, rain's drizzle, isn't it? So you've got that dramatic thunderstorm. You're like, it sounds like someone's just like dropped a paper cup or something, some water in. I like the idea of it. It's exciting. I guess the music is hard to say because it's going to be determined by what samples are achieved.
Yes, definitely. And what samples I choose to use. Because I think I'll probably record more than I'm going to actually end up using.
Which you want, really. You're more than less.
Yeah. And like I say, because I want the piece to hang together as a where everything is rubbish words. It's consistent across all the tracks. There's something that pieces it all together as one piece.
Yeah, you might find.
I'm hoping to have either a similar style, a similar genre, or one thing that even popped into my head that I might try is similar time signature. and do them all in some weird time signature, which would be interesting.
It could be some kind of coherence that you might find one particular sound acts as the perfect hi-hat or kick drum or something, so the tracks all share the same. So rather than a track being dedicated to one element type, there's 4 tracks consisting of multiple elements. It's more just sculpturing the instruments, what you're going to use with the sources you have. So it could be that.
Something like that.
But I reckon that's something could formulate more as time progresses.
I think, once I start playing around with the samples, that's when all that stuff, I think, will become clearer.
Cool. Well, I'm excited about this. I'm looking forward. So when are you going to do your first recording?
As soon as possible.
Well.
I've started doing sort of some research into how to go about recording different sounds. Things like the piezo microphones would be a good thing to source.
Do we have any here?
I don't think you do.
I feel like they really are cheap. You could probably go. I was going to say the good old days of Maplins.
You can get 10 for $5.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's fine. I'm happy to go get them.
That's some serious investment you're doing. Cool.
And then
that's when we need a Maplins again, isn't it? You just got bought one.
Yes.
I just bought one. It's like, now you have to get it from like Amazon or something like that. It's a shame, really.
But yeah, however, I might be able to use multiple microphones quite creatively.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's going to be your problem solving is capturing the sound source without any unwanted bleed from like wind or something like that. I know a lot of broadcasters use boom mics, which is like a hypercardioid shotgun mic. That's the one that's like a big ear cotton wool bud. So something like that.
Yeah, we haven't got any of those here, apparently. We haven't got any shotgun mics.
Are we not?
I did ask about that last week.
I'm amazed. I thought we did. I know we've got some condensers that they can change the capsule to hypercardioid, but they're not ideal for portable. Because you probably want a dynamic.
Yeah.
I guess that's such a particular spoke thing, isn't it? It is used for capturing something in the outdoors, dialogue, which in our day-to-day, I guess in the studios, we don't do.
You don't do.
I wonder.
Well, yeah. I wonder if it's worth investing something like that for like you can do sound for games and things. I should imagine kind of quite handy.
Yeah, I wonder if theatre have anything like that.
Oh, right.
I'm trying to think because obviously did media courses and that probably, or we got the Zoom camcorders, haven't we? Now, if I'm not mistaken, if I was making a camcorder, wouldn't I want the microphones to be hypercardioid for when someone's doing their family video in Disneyland?
Yeah.
So you might have a little look. You might have a solution there. I don't know if there is or not, but I would have thought as a camcorder, they probably have some treated microphone for that reason.
Definitely worth checking into,
Yeah. The Q8s, I think they're called, those camcorders. Yeah, have a look. I mean, you can even after this session go down to Tech Office and have a little wander.
Do that.
So that might be the solution to that one. You know, I think this is great. I'm really looking forward to the outcome of this.
I'm looking forward to doing it.
And I guess the technical research could be, if you haven't done so already, would be how do you process this audio?
Yes, I have done some research into that. And I've got a test piece that I did from earlier on that I liked. I tried using some effects and things on it, putting it through different synthesizers. Which was quite interesting results.
I think what you should really have a little explore is the convolution reverb in Ableton, because convolution, how it works is you put a sample in of an environment and the reverb calibrates itself to match the environment. So it's like white noise and things like that, but you can exploit it. But what if you put a snare drum in it or voice? What happens? You just get this mess.
Burning twig.
Yeah. Excuse me. Thank you. That could be a sample. Wind.
Yes.
Cool. All right. I'm excited about this, and I'm happy. I think it's got some good direction. Plenty of scope for variables. All right.
I think it'll cover everything.
I'd say so. There's a lot to research, both conceptually, technically, delivery of it. What it is a good concept.
I've got somebody who's willing to help me do some of the outside recording as well.
That would be the collab aspect.
So for a collaboration side of it.
Definitely another engineer. Yeah, that's cool.
Excellent.
Great. All right. So